Hi, I'm Valerie Polk, and my final presentation is going to be on the career of speech-language pathology. So a little bit more about speech-language pathology really quickly. It's considered a womb-to-tomb profession. So essentially I will be working with patients or clients from all ages, birth to geriatrics. It's a very diverse career field. I'm going to be working with people from all different backgrounds of life. And it's very centered on communications. I actually had a hard time finding articles for this because when I looked up communication and speech-language pathology, communication literally is the field. So finding workplace communication issues was a little bit of a challenge. And then in addition, my personal career goal is to work with pediatric patients, in particular kind of like my own children that I've been around. Okay, so my interviewee was Caitlin Alferman. I met her in passing through a homeschool group that we're in here locally. She went to school at the University of Missouri for both her bachelor's and her master's, and for the last 6-ish years she's worked for a organization called First Words Project, and it's through it's in Tallahassee, Florida. She now works remotely with them, but essentially what what the company she works for does is they help to screen at-risk infants in the very, very early stages. So we're talking like 9 months to 2 years, which is very, very early for that. So in my interview with her, I learned a little bit more about what she does and some concerns that can come up with communication as a speech therapist. And the concerns with communication that come up are typically communication with the children's parents or with coworkers. And two things in particular that I found related to subjects from our books were ethnocentrism and empathetic listening. So let's talk about ethnocentrism first. All right, so one thing that Caitlin mentioned is that you work with a very diverse population. You know, developmental disabilities do not have prejudices. They affect all races and socioeconomic backgrounds the same. So you're going to have a variety of clients. And something else that is important in this field with ethnocentrism is that cultural beliefs are something you really like to impress upon the child in early childhood. So you're going to be helping teach some of these cultural beliefs likely. So it's important that you respect those and are aware of them. And some ways you can help with ethnocentrism is by just being mindful of other thoughts and beliefs, and then avoid stereotypes, and then separate politics from the person, and communicate interpersonally rather than impersonally. So really let them know you're there and that you understand and that you're aware of their customs, and that you're going to help their child learn them as well. All right, and then the other part was the empathetic listening, or empathic listening, sorry. And essentially what I got from this, she talked about how whenever she is working with a new family, she is typically the first line of communication that happens with the child's disability. She's typically the first person they interact with. So during this stage, they might be scared or confused, and a lot of times those emotions that they have can affect how they communicate with her. So it's very important for her to be understanding and aware of all that they're feeling, and really to put herself in their shoes to better help them. The text talks about empathic listening, and talking about how empathy is the core of being other-oriented. And I think being other-oriented is probably the best thing I've learned from this course, is to really focus on how the other person is feeling in a conversation. And some tips that they gave were to imagine how they are feeling. So for example, remember back to when my children were first diagnosed and how that made me feel. It might help me remember how these families are feeling now. Another one is to reflect on what you know about the family and what you know about their background that could help you to understand their feelings better. And then to just listen compassionately and listen actively. So Caitlin had a lot of great things to say that I didn't know about the field, and I really appreciated the time she spent with me. Most importantly, she talked about a challenge of no two children are the same, and that's one of the challenges I'm most excited about when I start working in this field, is being able to challenge myself daily by all these unique children, and I cannot wait to start working. Thanks.